Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another music class lesson video. All right, let's go ahead and keep some things in mind. We are champs, and what do champs know how to do? Champs know their conversation level, how to get help, what activity they should be working on, how to move safely in the music room, and most of all, how to show that you are participating. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our Champs Music Pledge. Repeat after me. I will always try my best. I can learn something new. I will achieve my goals. All right, let's go ahead and get into this lesson. Holla! All right, boys and girls. So we're going to be going on some music field trips. So throughout today's lesson, I'm going to talk about our behavior and how we should be acting, all right? So third and fourth graders, you're going to go on a trip to the symphony. And so some of the music that I have introduced to you all, I think was either last week or the week before, you're going to be hearing that same music at the concert. So throughout today's lesson, we're going to talk about how you need to be acting. So that's for third and fourth grade. So fifth grade, you are going to go on a trip to see the opera. And we're going to be learning about the particular opera that you're going to see on the field trip. I want to say it's going to be sometime in April, between April 12th and the 14th, I believe. And yeah, but we'll learn more about opera later on. So like I said, throughout today's lesson, we're going to talk about how you should behave on those field trips. All right, and so since we have St. Patrick's Day coming up this week, we're also going to learn about the history of that as well. So let's first begin by checking out this video. Our first video says what to do at a concert. Make sure you are paying attention, your mouth shut, and listening.
Hello, I'm Allison Young, and welcome to Class Notes. Today, we're going to learn what it means to be a good audience member. Audiences are as different as the many types of events they attend, and it can be confusing to know how we're expected to behave at different kinds of performances. Should we act the same at a sporting event as we do at a religious service? Is it okay for audience members to talk while listening to an outdoor rock concert? Let's watch a classical performance and see what we can learn.
So let's think about that first question that she posed. Should you behave the same at all types of events? No, not at all. For example, if you go to a birthday party, maybe that's outside where you have some like trampolines, those bouncy houses, some cotton candy, all that great stuff, that should be different from how you act if you go into your classroom. Right? Because in a classroom, you need to sit down, be quiet, so everybody can be safe and listen and learn and be their best self, okay? So now we're about to see, I'm just gonna do some examples for us of how to act and how not to act at a concert. So pay attention.
Everybody's here. Let me introduce you to the Mirandula Ensemble, Angie, Nick, Andrew, and Scott, and guitarist Ben, and some of our young friends from O.H. Anderson Elementary School. Welcome, everybody. So I understand you'll be performing for us today.
Yes, we will be.
Great. But before you start, could I ask one question? Why do you like to perform for an audience?
Well, we get to make music for people. It's kind of like giving them a gift, and it's fun to see how they feel about it.
Well, I certainly like gifts. So how about you sing for us, and we'll let you know how we feel.
Fine necks for ladies, cheap choice, brave and new.
Wow. Wow, listen to those voices. And that guitarist, he's so talented. Why'd you stop?
You were talking.
But you said you like knowing how people feel.
Well, we do, but you can show us by listening very carefully to what we're singing, by watching us closely, and maybe even by smiling if you like something, but never by talking.
Not even to each other? Okay, no talking, just listening. Maybe we can ask you to sing again for us?
All right, boys and girls, let's talk about, so what does that mean? So what that means is that when you go to a type of concert like this, you want to be paying attention, okay? You don't need to talk, because that's very, very disrespectful, all right? People have worked hard, practiced their instruments, practiced with their voices or whatever it may be that they're performing on, so that they can give you the best performance, all right? And so the school district, they pay for these tickets, and we don't want to waste anybody's money or anybody's time. So when we go on this field trip and the concert's going on, your mouth needs to be shut. Okay, think about how the those 4 kids in this video, how they were looking when the lady started to talk. They were embarrassed. Don't go out there and embarrass Reagan Elementary School. Don't do it. Okay, let's move on.
Fine necks for ladies, cheap choice brave and new. Good penny words, but money cannot move. I keep a fair, but for the fair review. A beggar may deliver of love. Though my ways be trash, the heart is true.
I wasn't talking.
Yeah, but your bag and the chewing was really loud.
You really shouldn't be eating anything while we're performing anyway.
Okay, so no eating, no talking, and no distracting sounds.
On this field trip, there's no need for you to bring any food unless you're going somewhere afterwards. I'm not sure, I won't be with you. But unless they say to pack a lunch because you're going to eat somewhere afterwards, that would be the only reason that you would need to bring some food. But I highly, highly doubt that, okay? But definitely in the actual venue, which is the Tanger Center downtown in Greensboro, do not bring any food, do not bring any drink inside the auditorium. I repeat, do not, okay? So I can bring food inside, you're not? All right, let's keep listening.
Got it. So maybe I could ask you to continue singing?
Fine necks for ladies, cheap choice brave and new. Good many words, but money cannot move. I keep a fair, but for the fair review.
I really can't talk right now, but I'm at a performance. Yeah, I'm at a performance. Oh, you should hear these guys. They are so good. The guitarist, he's just wonderful. What?
You can't be talking on your cell phone while we sing.
Not even texting?
Hi, she's gonna have to call you back. Thank you, bye.
First of all, if you have one at school, you don't need it, don't need to bring it, but it needs to stay off, not on vibrates, off, not on low volume, but off and inside your book bag, okay? For this trip, any field trip, do not bring your phones. Do not bring your phones. If you're gonna do what? Yeah, don't bring them. You don't need it. You are there to enjoy the performance and to have that experience, okay? So don't let me hear about that somebody brought it. That's just gonna be a problem.
Listen, Allison, how about I give you a few pointers on how to be in the audience during a music concert? One thing to remember when you're at a classical music concert is that you participate mostly by listening. It's not like at a rock concert where the musicians are amplified. We can sing very loud or very quietly, but if you're not paying attention, you might miss something that we're doing. Another thing to remember is to show up early and try to find your seat. But most of all, just open your ears and try to enjoy the music.
Scott, I think I can do that. Can you sing again for us? I promise. I'll sit back and just enjoy.
Sounds good.
Fine necks for ladies, cheap choice brave and new. Good penny words, but money cannot move. I keep a fair, but for the fair to view. A beggar may be liberal of love. There be the hearts that thinks of no more. nori moves, of nori moves, nori moves, of nori moves.
Well, let's talk about how they were clapping. They were not screaming, cheering as though they were at a football game or like a rock concert or whatever like that. They were just clapping. So at the end, not in between, not at the a third or quarters or whatever way, but at the end of a song, that's when you will clap. Okay, just do a normal clap, nothing fancy, nothing crazy, a normal clap. Okay. You also notice that they stood up. They call that a standing ovation. That is something that is appropriate as well. But don't stand up like you're crazy. Just stand up normally, okay? And that's if you see like a lot of people doing that. All right, so we'll come back and talk more about how you behave at a concert. But let's move on now and talk more a little bit about St. Patrick's Day. All right, let me see. So we're gonna check out this book here. I may skip around a little bit, but let's just check it out. It's also about the history of St. Patrick's Day and his life. So the title is St. Patrick's Day by Gail Gibbons.
St. Patrick's Day by Gail Gibbons. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated each year on March 17th. This holiday is celebrated by the Irish and other people in many parts of the world. They honor St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. St. Patrick lived many years ago. He was born in Britain around the year 380 and raised in a Christian family. His parents didn't name him Patrick. Some people believe his name was Maewyn. While still a boy, he was kidnapped and brought to Ireland, where he was made a slave. His captors forced him to herd sheep. He prayed that God would help him. 6 years later, he escaped. After finally arriving back in Britain, he lived quietly, thought, and prayed. He realized what he wanted to do. He had dreams of returning to Ireland to teach the people about God. He went to France to study religion. In the year 432, the head of the Catholic Church, the Pope, named him Patricius, the Latin name for Patrick. He became a priest and then a bishop. At last, Bishop Patrick's dreams came true. He sailed back to Ireland and began preaching. He built churches and schools all over the country. People noticed his kind ways and trusted him. Bishop Patrick spent the rest of his life caring for the Irish people. They loved this kind man. People honor Patrick on March 17th because he died on that date in the year 461. Later, the Catholic Church made him a saint, Saint Patrick.
All right, so here we get how we actually have the name Saint Patrick. So I said a little bit about his background, what unfortunately happened to him, but how that didn't make him, become angry or evil. He just really wanted to help people. Like he wanted somebody to help, how people helped him and stuff, okay? And so we saw how we get the name St. Patrick's Day and also the date of March the 17th, which is what they said that's the date that he passed on. All right, let's continue learning about the history of St. Patrick's Day.
Today, many things are done to celebrate this holiday. People go to church to give thanks to St. Patrick for his work in Ireland. People have fun too. They dress in green to honor an ancient Irish custom. Hundreds of years ago, the people of Ireland burned branches with green leaves during the month of March and spread the ashes in fields to make them fertile and green. To wear green is to honor Ireland, the Emerald Isle. Decorations are put on doors and windows. Shamrocks appear everywhere. The shamrock is a plant that has 3 leaves and looks like clover. It is the symbol of St. Patrick as well as of Ireland. Leprechauns are remembered on St. Patrick's Day. Long ago, some Irish folk believed in these little magic creatures. It was thought if you caught a leprechaun, you could make him lead you to a pot of gold. Leprechaun comes from the old Irish word lucarpan, meaning wee one. People believed they were only as big as your thumb. There is the shillelagh too. In Ireland, many years ago, there was an old oak forest called shillelagh. The Irish liked to own a sprig of shillelagh, a short oak club from the forest. Often people decorate shillelaghs with green ribbons. The harp is one of the oldest musical instruments and has been popular with the Irish people since early times. It serves as another St. Patrick's Day decoration.
Right, so what are some of the traditions that they talked about so far? All right, so let's review. So they talked about burning those plants and putting them in the field to make the fields green as well as fertile. They talked about these shillelaghs, using that, a sprig of shillelagh, that oak wood. They also talked about harps, which is a musical instrument and it's also used as decorations. And so traditions are things. It can be a family tradition. It can be a tradition of your culture. It could be a tradition of a particular geographical location, but the things that people, do at a certain time kind of all together. It's a yearly thing. All right, let's continue.
On St. Patrick's Day, people may give cards to their families and friends. People also make cakes, cookies, and goodies to share with others. Some people give flowers. Others wear green carnations or pin shamrocks to their clothes to celebrate the holiday. There may be St. Patrick's Day plays too. Some families and friends have quiet times together in remembrance of St. Patrick. Often there are meals to share. St. Patrick's Day parties are given too. It is fun to sing Irish songs, dance Irish jigs, and play games. In many places, there are St. Patrick's Day parades. Flags flutter in the wind. Pipers and fiddlers play Irish tunes. There are green hats, people in costumes, green banners, lots of green. The first time St. Patrick's Day was celebrated in the United States was in 1737 in Boston. Each year, the Irish and many other people love to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. For many people, it is a day for worship and for celebration, and if you're not Irish, to feel a little bit Irish. Legends about St. Patrick. St. Patrick and the
All right, so before we hear the legends, what is a legend? This is the word that's up here, Legends, legends. All right, so think about if we know what the word legend means. All right, so basically a legend is something that some people may think that is real, but others may think that it's just more of a fable, just kind of made up, to explain something. So you decide. All right, let's finish this up.
The snakes. It is said that St. Patrick got rid of all the snakes in Ireland. By beating his drum, he frightened them into the sea. Today, there are no snakes in Ireland. St. Patrick and the poison. Some people say that a wizard tried to kill St. Patrick by putting poison in his drink. St. Patrick quickly turned it into ice and tossed it from his cup. St. Patrick and his cloak. It is said that St. Patrick had a friend who borrowed his cloak. There was a big fire where the friend was staying, but he was not hurt because he was wearing St. Patrick's cloak. St. Patrick and the Shamrock. St. Patrick used the shamrock to explain to people about the Holy Trinity, one God in three divine beings, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Growing at his feet was a shamrock. He used this plant to explain three in one stem with three leaves.
All right, so I wanted to explain the word cloak. So one of the legends that they were talking about was where his friend had on the cloak and the fire did not burn him. So a cloak is usually like a long, heavy, kind of thick coat. That's what a cloak is.
St. Patrick and the Fish. Another legend is that each year on March 17th, fish rise from the sea. They pass before St. Patrick's altar in Ireland and then disappear back into the sea. St. Patrick and the Sunset. It is said that the sun didn't set when St. Patrick died and that it shone in the sky for 12 days and nights. Thanks for watching Storytime with Miss Rose. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell for more videos.
All right, boys and girls. So in that video book, we learned more about the history of St. Patrick's Day. They also shared some legends that were really interesting as well. They also highlighted two musical instruments, and that was the harp. They said it's a part of traditional Irish music and used as decorations. And also one of the legends that talks about using the drum to drive out the snakes, okay? All right, so now we're going to learn about some instruments that come from the country of Ireland. Let me start it back at the beginning here. Make sure you are still sitting down, facing front, mouth shut. Thank you.
Oh, hello there. Let me tell you something about traditional Irish music. Okay, so as the pubs and restaurants are open now, you're going to have to learn a few Irish instruments, at least recognise what we have, because you're going to see all the Irish people singing them along the street. The most common one is the D.
Right, here we go.
So it's called Waltons and it was established in 1922. This is quite old. People say it's a flute, but it's not quite a flute because the flute normally has a hole at the back, but it only has 6 here. And normally in primary school, we play this. So in our different classes, we play it all the time.
Kind of like a recorder in America.
So yeah, this is a very popular instrument that they use in bands. We also have the Irish harp. So as you can see in the back of coins too, we have the harp on the back of the coin. So that's our national emblem. So let's take a look at a video here, an example of someone playing the harp.
So he's using her fingertips and her thumbs.
So that's the harp, which is our national emblem. We have a lot more instruments, but I'm just going to mention a few to you today so you can recognize them when you're listening to a few songs that we're going to show later. So we also have the fiddle. The fiddle is like a violin, and it's very common for people to play the fiddle as well. So in a lot of traditional bands, we have the fiddle. So let's take a look at a band here playing the fiddle. The next one that we have is the bodhrán. The bodhrán might be a difficult word to pronounce because it's in Irish. So the bodhrán is made from goat skin, and you have a little stick as well. So you're holding it here. It's kind of like a drum. So they're playing it like a drum. And there's very few people that can play this instrument as it requires a lot of talent. But we have a few videos on here as well. So we'll take a look at that too.
Notice what he's doing with his hand and wrist.
So they're the most common musical instruments that we have. There's a lot more, but they're the ones we just want to show you today. So I hope you enjoyed the beat of listening to those instruments. But we're just going to focus on the whistle today, as I can try and play that. I try my best to play it anyway. So yeah, the tin whistle, and the song at the beginning is called Wild Rover. Wild Rover is a very popular song. The Irish people love to listen to this song and sing along to the top of our lungs, So let's take a look at the Dubliners, which is an Irish band, playing this song. They don't play as good as me, but it's not bad. So yeah, I'm just going to play a little bit more of the song. So I'm going to play the verse and play one chorus as well. I'll put the lyrics up for you so you can sing along to it too, because you have to learn the words in order to be able to enter a pub. No, I'm only joking, but to get along with people in the pub anyway. So I hope your ears don't hurt when I play, but I'll play a little bit for you now.
And again, what she's playing is called the tin whistle. That's what they learn to play when they're in elementary school, kind of like we are, learn how to play the recorder.
Well,
okay.
I hope you enjoy.
All right, so let's go back to the bull run a little bit here, so we can learn just a tad bit more. All right, so again, it says its origin is the country of Ireland in Europe.
The Bowron, B-O-D-H-R-A-N. The Bowron is a type of membranophone with a shallow frame-like shell. The Bowron can be round or square-shaped and be adorned with additional sound-making devices like bells. The Bowron is a folk music instrument originating in Ireland. For over 1,000 years, it has been made by stretching goat skin over a round wooden frame. Now, traditionally, it's only played once a year, and that is on St. Stephen's Day. This instrument was created by us, the farmers of Ireland, that's right! We took a winnowing tray, we'd throw the grain up into the air, the wind would blow away the chaff, and the heavier grain would fall back into the tray. Now, after a long hard day in the field, we'd take the winnowing tray, turn it on its side, and hit it with a beater. And lo and behold, we made the Bowron. That's right, we made the Bowron. Isn't it great? Percussion instruments are everywhere. Time for a quick review. The Bowron is a type of membranophone from the country of Ireland. Some things to remember. It's made by stretching goat skin over a round wooden frame. The Bowron can be round or square in shape. Traditionally, Bowrons were only played on St. Stephen's Day, even though now they are played throughout the year. And they were originally created from winnowing trays used by farmers. Take a bow! You've learned about the Bowron!
Oh yeah, so one quick thing about that. So in case anybody's like, "Ooh, gross," they use the goat skin. Well, that was very common with musicians all over the world, back in the day, because when they, had to kill an animal for their food, they didn't want to waste any part of the animal. So they would, use its skin for clothes, and so also for instruments, and they would even use the bones to make instruments out of. So that's just kind of a part of the circle of life and how they honor the animal by just, not killing it just for one thing, but for, using it for lots of different things. All right, so here, this is our 360. So it says to play the drum, the player holds the supporting crossbar, so on the inside of it, that goes along the back of the drum. They are usually played with double-ended beaters called tippers. So that's what we see here, kind of a rounded part on each end. Okay. Now it says, how do you play? So just looking in here, you can see there's kind of a strap there. And sometimes there's another one that's perpendicular to it as well.
The bodhrán can be played with the hand or with a stick. Now, one hand holds the drum, while the other hand holds the beater in a kind of pencil-like way. Now look at this. With a loose wrist, the beater strikes the head of the drum in a down and up motion. Beaters can include brushes, soft mallets, or, like we can see, tippers.
Right, and they call that one the tipper because it has a rounded end on two sides. So that was beaters. And let's learn about the different tones that you can make with it.
The tone of the drum can be changed by striking different areas of the head. Now, to dampen the sound, a player can place his hand on the drum skin, and to accent a beat, the player can hit the edge of the bodhrán's wooden frame. Cool.
All right, so with that one, we learned how to make the different tones by striking it with the different ends, striking different locations, and using the other hand and touching the inside of it, like the rim part, and that will dampen, which means it'll soften the sound.
Here's challenge number 1. Vinay studies drums and percussion at university. 1, 2, 3, 4.
See if you can copy his motion that he's using with his wrist. That's back and forth. So that's a basic movement right there. All right, boys and girls, so I hope that you were able to learn a little bit more about the history of St. Patrick's Day. So when you celebrate it, it's always good to know more about the people, the history, the culture, so that you can, celebrate in a respectful way. And also because when you learn stuff, your brain grows. So that's good. All right, so, and also we got a chance to check out some cool traditional Irish instruments. And we know that one instrument is so important that it's actually on their currency, their money, and that's the harp. All right, so now we're gonna go back to talking about behavior on music field trips.
Attention, please. We're here to tell you what to expect when you attend an orchestra performance and what is expected of you. There's lots of commotion when you arrive, so it's important to get there in plenty of time. Once inside, our very polite ushers will take your ticket, hand you a program, and escort you to your seat, and be sure to give them a smile and thank you. Once seated, it's important to be
All right, so like she said, maybe a lot of commotion. So what that means is that you need to stay with your teacher, stay with your group. Don't get distracted, don't wander off, focus, okay? Now, you probably won't have any type of tickets because that's already handled for you. But again, you need to pay attention. Make sure you use the restroom before you even get on the bus. Don't ask to go, all right?
quiet before the performance begins. Be polite and speak in whispers. You might look through your program and learn something about the show. And please remind mom and dad to silence their cell phone and put it away.
You know, we already addressed that. Don't even bring it, okay? And I don't know if you'll get programs. I can't remember if we did the last year that we went. I do not remember. But if you do, the program basically we have like a little bit of information on the conductor. That's the person with the baton that's, you know, that leads the ensemble. They have a little bit about, you know, the ensemble itself. We'll also have kind of the list of songs and the order that they're going to play them in. It'll also have the name of the composer, the person that wrote the music listed as well. And it may have a little tidbit about, you know, the song in there. Okay, so don't throw it. If you all do get programs on that day, do not throw the programs away. Don't put them on the floor. Don't leave them on the bus. Don't do that. Okay.
Our musicians will begin to come on stage to warm up and tune their instruments, and it may sound a bit disorganized. But then the lights dim and the concertmaster will play a single note, their A string. All musicians join in so that all instruments are in perfect tune. The leader of the orchestra is the conductor. The audience will clap as the conductor takes the stage. And when you hear others applauding, join in.
That's having manners. That's being polite.
Now it's time to put on your listening ears.
Which means your mouth
Sometimes
is
you
shut.
may want to close your eyes and listen closely to the different instruments to hear their different sounds. The strings, woodwinds, the brass, percussion. Open your eyes and see if you can find that musician. When you have a question about what you are hearing, please wait to ask your parents or friends until a performance finishes. Or at intermission, the halftime break. Then you can get up and...
So I don't know if there will be intermission. More than likely there will not, because it's gonna be like 10, no, maybe like 7 to 10 other schools there. So you think about all of the third graders, all of the fourth graders, and you take all the third and fourth graders from like 7 or 8 or 9, 10 other schools. That's gonna be a lot of people. So I don't think they're gonna have an intermission, but even if they do, stay in your seat. Okay? All right.
and move around. But please say, "Excuse me," when leaving
Show
your row.
manners.
And try not to step on anyone's toes. When intermission is over, the lights will flash on and off, telling you it's time to quickly go back to your seat. Remember to be very quiet before the orchestra starts. And listen again.
All right, boys and girls. And so, oh yeah, one more thing. So, yeah, they typically will like lower the lights. You go to a play or a, classical concert or the opera. So when the lights get low and turn off, that doesn't mean that you're screaming and act like you lost your mind. Don't do that. No, that's just a signal to let you know that, okay, oh, the show is about to get started. So make sure that you are sitting down in your seats nicely. I don't want to see you up and down. You gotta sit like you know how to sit in your seats, okay? Want to represent Rankin the right way, and I hope that you all enjoy your first music field trip, okay, of the school year. All right, well, I will see you when I see you again. Make sure that you are making great decisions and doing what you need to do, okay, and being your best self. All right, bye.